What's up everyone? Welcome to another video. In this video, I will review the LIONSCOOL seated leg extension and laying leg curl machine after 4 months of use. I already made a dedicated video for unboxing and assembling it if you're interested, and I will put a link down in the video description. I will also be comparing it to the RITFIT PLC01 machine, which is its direct competition. But I'll tell you right now, the LIONSCOOL machine is far superior in my opinion. First, I have the version 2.0, which was the current version when I bought it in December 2024. A few weeks later, they switched to the version 3.0, which is the current version. I would have waited a week if I knew they were switching versions, but they are essentially the same, and I'll point out the differences during the video. I keep it right here, in the back corner of the Rise of Iron gym. I don't have a ton of open space, so I have it packed in the corner as much as I can. There is enough room to perform seated leg extensions and laying leg curls. The overall footprint of the machine is 64 inches long by 46 inches wide. And you will need some room on this side to adjust the seat between sitting and laying. I have it minimized at 11 inches, which works. And you'll also need a little bit of room back here to load and unload weight plates. And on that note, I don't have a lot of space in here to make a detailed review video, so I'm going to move it into the adjacent room. To transport it, I just stand here in the center of the frame, and pick it up here and here, which is pretty balanced to walk around with. Choppy little steps are needed because there's not much room inside of the frame, but if you need to move it, it's doable. And here we are in my little YouTube studio, with enough room to dive into this review video. Here's a quick little walk around with the seat in the up position for seated leg extensions, and with the seat in the down position for laying leg curls. To begin, the beauty of the design of this machine is the constant resistance curve through the full range of motion. As your legs travel through the rep, the resistance force on this rotating mechanism comes from this cable, and the resistance force is always the same distance and direction around the rotating axis, which always provides constant resistance torque throughout the range of motion. Using cables and pulleys for constant resistance is not new, and it's commonly used in exercise machines. But using it in home gym leg extension and leg curl machines is new for some reason. And RITFIT is currently the other company using this arrangement, but I'm sure there will be more companies jumping on board and rolling these out in the near future. The alternative is one of these generic machines made by countless different companies, which has a simple lever arm with a poor resistance curve. First, let's check out a few overall details of the lever arrangement, then we'll dig into the details of the upright position and the laying position. The cable travels over an idler pulley here, then connects to the lever arm down here, which lifts up the weight. Notice that this cam has a corner with an edge across the face here. During use, the cable wraps around the cam and the edge digs into it. There's a little indent in the cable sheath where it's in contact. It's not a functional issue, but I wanted to point it out. It could have been a smoother transition. And on this version 2.0 machine, the weight holder arm pivot is directly above the frame, and the cable is offset and connected to the side of the arm with a standoff. On version 3.0, the weight holder arm is shifted to the side with a standoff, so the cable is in line and connects to the center of the top of the arm. And that's the difference between the version 2 and the version 3, which gives it more stability and a higher weight capacity. And compared to the RITFIT, the plate horn is up here, and there are 2 standoffs for resistance bands down there. And there's a storage plate holder in the back, so it has a few more features. And I want to make it clear right now that I do not have the RITFIT machine. However, I did see it in person and sit on it a couple weeks ago when I visited Vernon at the legendary Usawa Fitness Garage Gym. And I watched all of the review videos I could find last December when I was shopping and ultimately purchased the LIONSCOOL machine. I will add a little RITFIT image up in the corner when I'm talking about it. Now, let's get this review video started. Focusing on the seated position, the seat is on a pretty good decline, which allows you to sink in there and get a good stretch on the quads. To be thorough, the decline is 20 degrees. During use, the knee joint needs to be in line with the lever pivot, so they rotate on the same axis. The seat pad is set up perfect on this machine, so your knees will be in line with the pivot, resulting in comfortable operation. Moving to the back pad, it's adjustable with 6 different positions, securely locked in with a pin, so you can get the seat dialed in with your knees over the front pad and the back pad adjusted to support your back. The RITFIT seat is fixed with no adjustment, and is positioned way up here like this. When I sat on it, my knees were hanging like 4 inches off the front of the pad. I could fit my fist in the gap like this. I would have to fold the back down flat and not use it at all when seated, which is unacceptable. I'm currently measuring in at 6 foot 1 inch tall and 215 pounds. And to use the RITFIT, my femur would need to be 4 inches shorter. It may fit you perfect if you're shorter, but it just doesn't fit me and it's unusable. And speaking of the pads, this has really nice, robust, thick pads. They measure 2 inches thick. The RITFIT pads were a lot thinner, and multiple review videos said they could hear the pad backer boards cracking during use, which does not happen with the LIONSCOOL. And let's talk about handles. They're in a good location and feel natural to grab while seated during use. And they are made of hard rubber and are good quality. The RITFIT handles were made of cheap foam. Now, I know I've been dogging the RITFIT, but I'm just being honest. But now it's time for the LIONSCOOL to take some heat. It has a big flaw, but it also has a fix. The roll pad arm is adjustable by locating the spring pin in the desired hole. Just pull out the pin, move the arm where you want it, and release the pin into a hole to secure it. If you're doing seated leg extensions, there's a good chance you're going to want the pad all the way back to get as much quad stretch as possible. To do that, you just need to move the pin to the farthest back hole. For me, it usually doesn't quite make it there, and it needs a little bit of help. And now let's get to the problem with the LIONSCOOL machine. This is my leg position all the way back. Ideally, the pad would come all the way back here for more leg stretch. Also, this pad is on a pivot here, so it can freely move up and down. I assume this is to accommodate different leg lengths, but if you move it to an extreme, it will want to self-center in the middle when you put some force on it. I personally think it would be a lot better if it could be pinned in a few different locations instead of flopping around. But there's a way to fix all of this. The pad assembly is on a pivot here, centered on the movement arm. The pad assembly can be flipped to the other side, so the pad will be located here, on the other side of this arm. And they advertise flipping the pad for more range of motion. So let's knock this out. Remove the retaining bolt, slide the shaft out, flip the pad assembly around, and reinstall the shaft through the bearings in the movement arm. Notice that this peg is trapped inside the handle, so the pad is locked in the low position and not flopping all over the place. If you want the pad in the high position, install it with the peg below the handle, which will trap it with the pad up high. If you want the pad in the middle, I guess you need to cut the handle off. For me, it's perfect with the pad trapped down low, so that's how I run it. Flipping the pad moved it back 6 inches, which provides a full stretch when it's all the way down, and it eliminated that problem. Now that it's working properly, let's check out a couple other general things on the machine. First, the pad is 19 inches wide, which is nice. The RITFIT pad is shorter. It's advertised at 16.5 inches, which would be about this wide. And notice that the pad is not quite parallel with the machine. It's on a little bit of an angle. It appears to be a stack up of slop in the two pivot points, mostly where the movement arm connects to the frame, and a little bit where the roller assembly connects to the movement arm. Also, this machine does not include a clamp for the weight plate horn, but use a clamp. Otherwise, in my experience, the weight plates work their way off with use. That would be a nasty surprise for the plates to fall off during a workout, so use a clamp. In regard to the 1-to-1 ratio that's talked about, let's test it. Zeroing the hanging scale with the chain on it, we will measure the force required to lift a 45-pound plate. Because I have a 45-pound plate with no collar on the plate horn, I also have a couple 45-pound plates on the seat, just to hold the machine down while I lift on the scale. For this test, it took 66.96 pounds of force to lift the 45-pound plate. I tried it again, lifting it quite a bit higher, which will put the weight plate arm at a different angle, and also note that the results will be different depending on where the leg pad is positioned. At the higher height, it took 60.59 pounds of force to lift the 45-pound plate. So at this weight, it's about 15 to 20 pounds heavier. And in case there's any concerns that my scale is off, the 45-pound plate weighed in at 45.62 pounds, so it's accurate. And to see if it's linear or a ratio, let's throw on another 45-pound plate to make it 90 pounds. It was a little challenging to hold the 90 pounds with that little strap, and it took a little bit for the scale to lock in, but it locked in at 94.09 pounds, which is only 4 pounds heavier, so it's not quite linear, and there you go. And now it's time to switch it over from seated leg extensions to laying leg curls. First, if you have the seat back adjusted forward, adjust it all the way back. Then pull the spring plunger pin out and hold it out while you lift the seat up, and then let go of the pin to lock it in place. It's easy. Here's a closer look. Pull the pin out and lift the seat up. The pin locks in this hole when the seat is down. After it's up, let go. The pin locates in this hole to secure it in place. Recall that the seat cushion is on a decline for seated leg extensions, so you can really sink in there and get the leverage and the stretch. When it's changed over for laying leg curls, the seat cushion is on a slight incline and the seat back is on a decline. This hump is to fit the contour of your hips when you're laying over the seat. The geometry is great and it's comfortable. This is a big win for the LIONSCOOL machine. For comparison, the RITFIT machine does not have this contour. Their bench is completely flat when it's laid down for leg curls. I saw multiple RITFIT review videos where people said they put a roller or a pad or something under their hips when they lay down on the flat surface. When I was shopping and comparing machines, that was a first class no thank you. Get this goofy nonsense out of here. To finish the conversion, pull the spring pin and adjust the leg roller up where you need it. And again, you want your knee joints in line with the pivot joint. Pretty much just put your knees up against the pad and lay forward. And notice that with the roller flipped, it puts a preload on it. You have to lift it a little bit when laying down. Also again, there's a nice set of grab handles. They're in a natural, comfortable location and easy to grab. So hopping on here and doing laying leg curls is a great experience overall. It's comfortable and smooth, but there is something to watch out for, and one range of motion issue. Keep your arms tucked in when you're laying down. If you stick them way out, they'll interfere with the weight holder frame, and you'll get your elbows smacked. There's more clearance on the version 3 because they pushed that arm over a couple inches, but still, keep your arms tucked in. And here's a small interference issue. At the contraction of the leg curl, the handle on the movement arm hits the frame. This is another unfortunate side effect of flipping the roller to the inside. And here's a mark on the handle where it's hitting the frame. This interference can be eliminated by flipping the leg roller back to the normal position, which moves the pad over 6 inches. With it flipped back, there's plenty of clearance and the handle does not hit the frame. However, again, I don't like how this floppy leg roller self-centers when there's force applied. It moves way up on my calves. I don't want it self-centered up here. I want it locked in place, right here. I personally permanently run it with the pad flipped around. It's not practical to keep flipping it back and forth for leg extensions and leg curls. That locks it into the desired position so it's not flopping around. And I'll probably just cut this piece of the handle off so it doesn't interfere. So let's quickly run through it, just for fun. You absolutely don't have to do this. This is just for your entertainment and for my entertainment. It may or may not be worthwhile, but you get to watch some sucker on YouTube chop up their machine and find out. At this point, I ground off the extra material, cleaned it up a little more with the flapper wheel, hit it with some Rust-Oleum truck bed liner, which is an excellent match, then reinstalled it into the frame, and reinstalled the leg pad assembly onto the movement arm. And here we are, the leg pad is still trapped as desired, and the interference part of the handle is gone, and rotating it up, woof! Looking at it from the other side, I was hoping we would have this additional range of motion, but we don't, because of interference down here. We gained pretty much nothing. Now it's hitting on a new spot, the movement arm on the mounting clevis. And going back to the beginning, I was focused here where it was touching. And I didn't notice this. But it's all good, I make these videos to help you out. And I tried it so you don't have to. If you were curious, now you know. An easy way to fix this is to get rid of the permanent welded on pin and put a clearance hole through the square tube in its place. And introduce a removable pin, something like this, where you can just slide it through the square tube to lock it in place. To switch to leg curls, remove the pin. Rotate this down so the roller is up here. Insert the pin to lock it in place. Perform your leg curls, then to switch back to leg extensions, remove the pin, flip it back up so the roller is here, and lock it in place. Looking online, it looks like someone did it 2 months ago. I'll plan on doing something similar and making a dedicated YouTube video for it. So, I think that gets us through it. Overall, after 4 months of use, I think this is an excellent home gym purchase. It has some great features, including the adjustable back and the ergonomic laying position. But the leg pad adjustment could be improved. On the version 3, they advertised flipping the pad for more range of motion, which was not advertised on the previous versions. So I'm guessing they added it as a band-aid of convenience, and it was not designed for that. But they really need to reevaluate and redesign that leg pad arrangement. Flipping the roller between leg extensions and leg curls is their current recommendation, which is not ideal. With that said, I would personally still absolutely choose this over the RITFIT machine, no question. I personally can't sit on it or lay on it properly. It's not an option. As always, I hope you found this helpful. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.